Good morning, Internet, and welcome to the Fantasy Football Speakeasy, where really we're just talking fantasy football and all the crazy things that are happening. We're going to get to all of that. And all you got to do to come in here and get this sweet fantasy knowledge is knock twice to get into the Fantasy Football Speakeasy. And don't worry, we're not like one of those dumb shows that's going to sing the NSYNC song or something crazy like that.
Might be crazy, but it ain't no baby. Bye, bye, bye.
The Warzone Sports Network presents the Fantasy Football Speakeasy. Stay tuned and never miss out.
I'm saying, baby. Oh, I'm supposed to stop?
Everyone always asks me, do you really beef with Joe? Do you seriously off screen have problems with Joe? And this is why, ladies and gentlemen, I do. Yes, it's a real beef.
Wait, people, we actually do hate each other. Like, if it wasn't for Tony Tucker, it'd be a lot more fighting on the screen. I'll just tell you that.
Yeah, it would be.
Oh, excellent execution, gentlemen. So bye weeks, the bye week of all bye weeks. I honestly have been playing fantasy football for 30 years, 26 years or whatever. Never remember anything like this crazy.
Wait. Did you say 30 years?
Well, I've been watching football for like 32 years. I think I started playing fantasy football in 1996 or 97 or something like that.
Jakey.
Yeah, so a long time, and I just don't remember it like being this drastic. But maybe it's also too just the heightened awareness because of how much we were into it and we're seeing the coverage and we're immersed in it. So, but
No,
we have
you're correct. You're correct, Tony. Because even the fantasy people on TV, like the people that do this for their job and stuff, they're calling it buy a given, and like this is the way they scheduled these buys this week or this year because of the extra game is crazy. It's insane. And but then again, maybe it's maybe we've seen 6 teams before, but we've never seen 6 teams that had so many impactful players. I mean, you saw the list right here: the Cowboys, the Vikings, the Bills, the Chargers. All offensive powerhouses that are all carrying people's teams right now.
Yeah, and I think really what the impact I'm looking at is how many of them are like top like the first 3 round picks, right? Like when you're looking at Zeke, Delvin Cook, Najee Harris, Austin Eckler, James Robinson, like those are all running backs like from the first 3 teams. And then you have the emergence of guys like Zach Moss that are getting more playing time there. And then just in the wide receivers, you have Keenan Allen, you have Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper. And then as you go down, there's more obviously starters on some of those other teams. And then quarterback is just always a touchy position when you have Kirk Cousins balling out and Dak, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert. So yeah, a lot of buys this week. You
like that? You like that?
Then on top of it all, there's a lot of injuries right now. It's like peak injury season.
Oh my gosh.
Just killing us. It's killing us. I've got one lineup where my entire bench is filled with IR and bye weeks.
So I want to throw out a theory. I was thinking like should I put this dumb theory out there or not? I really think this about the NFL. I think the NFL wants to get to 18 games. That was their goal when they went to the negotiation table. They wanted an 18th game. I think they're doing like a bigger bye week, like the one they're doing right now, just to see what it would look like when they try to pitch to the Players Association. We'll give you 2 bye weeks. So they'll have like big bye weeks up 6 and 7, and then you'll get a second bye week later. Like, what does it look like for the NFL schedule when we're taking marquee teams in marquee cities and putting them all on one big chunk? How does that look as the product for us? But we'll see. We'll see how.
See, I wish they would just do it where either they give one conference off a week, so like the AFC's off this week, and AFC off next week, or they just take the whole weekend off. And like after week 8, hey, everybody has week 9 off. Take the bye. It's equal. You're not having one team taking a bye early. You're not messing up fantasy football, which is a multi-million-dollar organization now. You're not messing up anybody's money, and it's right there. And everybody, because we always complain, man, I don't want the first bye week for my team. My team got the early bye, and the Patriots get a week 12 bye. Like, it's always an issue. Just give everybody the same bye. Here you go. We're giving you this week off.
First good idea I've ever heard out of your mouth.
I want to commiserate with KTC Bull real quick, because on one team I also have David Montgomery, Kareem Hunt, Saquon, all on IR.
Jeez.
And it's rough. It is really rough. In one of my leagues, my first 3 picks are either injured or on bye. It's a cold world out there this Sunday when you're setting your lineups. But what is our first segment of the show again? I prepared it, but I forgot what it is already.
You're killing me, Smalls.
You're killing me, Smalls. Who wants to go first?
Right behind you. He's right behind you, Tony.
He is. You are killing me, Smalls.
One last thing on the bye weeks. As a commissioner of my own league, of my home league, for some reason, I always wake up Tuesday morning and I check everybody's roster. I just go through and I make sure, so I know what's going on. So in case people start complaining, this week I checked it. 3 teams and we don't have a big bench. We only have 5 bench. 3 teams had to replace at least 7 guys in there with buys. 3 teams out of the 12 teams that we had seven guys on buys. So either they were dropping people or moving stuff around. It was crazy. So that's how nuts it was just in my own league. But we'll get into you're killing me, Smalls, now.
It's those dumb Chargers fans that drafted all Chargers players. I had to start doing Jalen Hurts for QB. I had to start Teddy Bridgewater in the 16 man that I'm in.
Yeah, Teddy. I think we talked about that on Thursday night, Mike, of how many people we saw starting Teddy Bridgewater this week, and not a good week.
Yeah,
you started off bad.
It could have been a lot worse though. It was trending towards like a 5-point week, which would have been very, very, very bad.
Oh, Monday night, I'm gonna be sweating so hard. I'm just gonna put actual full sticks of deodorant in my armpit. I'm just with the players I'm starting. It's just gonna be full, just Old Spice, just tucked up under my armpits. I'm gonna be sweating so bad.
Who was that? They used to do that. They used to go
double-sided.
Yeah. That's Molly Shannon from Superstar.
I don't recommend what I just did. Especially.
Yeah, this early in the morning and you haven't had a chance to get up under there.
I'll knock myself out right now.
Let's get this first segment rolling. Come on, let's get the train back on the tracks here.
David, no. David.
Who picked David Montgomery? Did I pick David Montgomery?
I picked
Mike did.
Okay, Michael, start talking.
Well, I've had David Montgomery as my RB2 target in all my leagues. He's a young guy who was breaking out at the end of last year. It reminded me a lot of Austin Eckler's breakout year, and I was like, David Montgomery's going to be a beast. And sure enough, he comes out the gates smashing 20 points, 22 points, 25 points, and then he goes down, and he has not returned yet. And it's an injury that's been very just don't know when he's going to come back. And it's so painful because I don't want to give up on him, and he has no value to trade right now, but I need him, and I need him bad.
Here's the other thing about David Montgomery. His backups are playing real nice. When he comes back, great. Are you trying to give this Khalil Herbert kid is good. He's got a tough matchup this week against the Bucks, obviously, the run game. I have to start him in one league. I'm really hoping he gets into the pass game. But is David Montgomery getting the same workload that he was getting before? We already knew that Damian Williams, the guy was a borderline Super Bowl MVP. We knew he could play, but at least the offense was holding him back, and they were propping up Montgomery with a lot of work. I'm not sure that when he comes back from an MCL sprain, that even then they're going to say, yeah, go back to getting 80% of the snaps and most of the carries and the goal line work and the pass. You got to find ways to get the ball in Herbert's hands. This kid is really fast. And Damian Williams, he's nothing to sneeze at either. So now they have 3 back. He's opened the door to the coach saying, we got more playmakers. We need to find ways to get him involved. So
that makes it even worse.
About Damian Williams.
I guarantee when he comes back that Herbert's still going to get 10 touches, 15 touches.
Speaking about Damian Williams, he was just activated, so he will be playing tomorrow. For all you guys who are starting one of them, it's like Tony said, it is against a tough defense already in the Bucks, but at least they'll have Herbert and Williams in that backfield for the Bears. So if you have Damian Williams and you were wondering if he was going to play, he just got activated probably like 10, 15 minutes ago off of the COVID list. So he'll be good to go. And Mike, I don't know. When you sent me the name for David Montgomery, I was looking it up and trying to read on his injury. And of course, he's saying all the right things about his knee feeling good. But when he first went down, it looked bad and it looked horrible. And we were like, "Oh, that's season injury." I don't know. Is he going to rush it back? Is he really going to be 100% when he comes back? Like Tony said, are they going to lean on the other guys that are making the play? If I were you, I'm done with David Montgomery. I'm not welcoming him back.
Well,
I'm not thinking, baby, come back.
Here's the problem.
Nope.
Because of the injury and the status he's in, I need him to have a good game to send him out. And in order for him to have a good game, he needs to come and play before the trade deadline.
Yeah, I don't know if you're going to get that good game.
I think I just gotta hold that risk on my IR until he comes back and hope that he comes back strong. I think that's my game plan.
Yeah, if you can make it far into the playoffs, he might actually have some usage, because of injuries, like and people being banged up and stuff like that. Maybe he's the one that's healthy in the backfield, and you get that 20-touch game out of him. Mm-hmm. I do think the Bears actually have some nice matchups towards the end of the season. It was another reason why I targeted David Montgomery as my RB2, and in a couple situations, my RB1, so you can know how those teams are going. Tony's desperate for a win. Well, let's talk about my guy, Joe. Let's talk about my guy. Let's talk about me.
Oh man, this guy.
You're freaking killing me, Smalls. You're killing me. The Colossus of Clout. That is not Trey Sermon, ladies and gentlemen. Trey Sermon. Now, okay, so I'm like I'm driving along. Trey Sermon might be behind Jermichael Hasty tomorrow, like Elijah. Not to mention that he might also be behind Jeff Wilson Jr., not even Jeff Wilson Sr., the junior. Trey Sermon, I had so much hope for him, and I still think he's the best running back on the team, but he might be fourth. I don't even think that this guy is going to be dressing when Jeff Wilson Jr. is back, and if Hasty and Mitchell are healthy. Like, I'm about to drop him. As soon as I read that Hasty is definitely playing tomorrow, I will be dropping him because I don't think he gets more than 4 or 5 snaps in that game, barring injury to Elijah Mitchell. And I know that there was a lot of people that dropped Elijah Mitchell when he got injured. So if you haven't, you should be looking to see if he is available because it looks like he's getting the start. But what is going on? I could have literally just put the San Francisco 49ers logo up for this one because what's going on with Brandon Ayuk? What's going on with Trey Lance now is out with a knee injury. The 49ers offense, we buy into this idea that Kyle Shanahan is a genius. He's not a genius, guys. He's not. He took Daddy's offense and he's running it at less capacity than his old man ever did. Now, granted, his old man had John Elway and Shannon Sharp and Terrell Davis and everybody else. Like, he had a lot of talent come through there, and we haven't seen necessarily Kyle get to operate it with that same level of talent. He's definitely never had a John Elway.
You're forgetting about George Kittle.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You ain't missing on that take, Tony. The 49ers offense has been a fantasy bust as a whole this year. No one on that offense other than Deebo Samuel has really been too valuable.
Oh, and the Deebo Samuel ones, if you look a little bit closer at the Deebo Samuel, they're busted plays. Like 2 of his touchdowns this year, he's wide open. Honestly, throws that any of us could have made to Deebo Samuel. Like the closest player to him is 25 yards. So even if you threw a duck, that thing could have went wah, 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 landed in Samuel's arms, and then just the speed and ability of Samuel, he takes it to the house. And I get credit for a 73-yard touchdown.
You're giving Mike way too much credit. Yeah. I've seen Mike play. I've seen film on Mike. There's no way he hits a receiver wide open.
I was running yesterday. I felt good.
No way.
Well, now
you gave Mike way too much credit.
Felt good. First play, touchdown. Piggy bank pick's going to get toasted.
Oh, Jesus. Like,
quack, quack.
we think that what's his name? Zach Wilson is a bad quarterback. They haven't seen anything until you watch Mike.
Yeah, my quarterback skills are next level.
You want to move on to? You're killing me, Smalls. I'm going with Ryan Tannehill. I know it's not as bad as it was earlier in the season, but when we first looked at this offense in the offseason, and we saw A.J. Brown, we saw Julio Jones and Derrick Henry, we were like, yeah, this offense should put up a lot of points. What Tannehill was doing last year and stealing a lot of running touchdowns, he's not doing it this year. Like Henry, I think Derrick Henry has 10 touchdowns. So they're actually doing what they're supposed to and feeding the running back. But if you had high hopes for Tannehill because the two wide receivers, and those guys have been out, both of them, multiple games, A.J. Brown and Julio Jones, it's kind of disappointing, right? It's kind of disappointing because you didn't draft him as a high, like top 5 quarterback, but you were like, hey, if I wait a little bit in our fantasy drafts, I could get Ryan Tannehill and it kind of be like a little steal, and I'll get some extra points. So to me, it's just he's a little bit underperforming. It might be that whole offense, and we talked about that offense in the offseason as well, that I wasn't a big fan of their offensive coordinator because I remember him from the Raider days and him trying to be the man. But I don't know. Ryan Tannehill, to me, is killing people because they had high hopes for him. They had high hopes for a living. So you got songs stuck in my head today, Tony.
Well, he was one of those guys that everyone was targeting because you could go ahead and go heavy RBs, go heavy wide receivers, and try and draft him a lot later in the draft. And I feel like he's probably screwed over a lot of teams. But I feel like maybe you made the adjustments and went and picked up Heineke or went and picked up someone with a hot hand. Carson Wentz, maybe.
Yeah, or maybe you're like HoovTube and you had a choice between Tannehill and Jalen Hurts, and you went the wrong way, HoovTube. Because Jalen Hurts is balling for my team.
This is a long comment. He traded DJ Moore and Cordell Patterson for Aaron Jones and Stephon Diggs. I think he won that deal by a lot.
Yeah, you won that deal by a long shot. Like, what are you trying to do? Brag, KTC? Like,
He won that deal.
How you just basically ripped somebody off? Like, who did you go after? Some like 8-year-old kid? Like, is that who you made a trade with? Because nobody in their right mind makes that trade.
J-Fly would.
J-Fly is.
Well, like I said, nobody in their right mind makes that trade.
Here's the problem with the J-Fly trade, and I didn't even push it through. I was just like, the computer will take care of this. I cannot push accept on this because as the commissioner of that league, I didn't want to push that trade. Like, I wanted to decline that trade and kick J-Fly out of the league. I love him. Like, he's fun. He's great. He's entertaining. It is by far the worst fantasy football trade ever in the history.
I don't even know what you guys are talking about, and I'm in that league.
Yeah, it's bad.
Okay, so J-Fly heard the news about Deshaun Watson and gave up Justin Jefferson and who was the other player? It doesn't even matter.
Justin Jefferson and Zach Ertz, I think.
Justin Jefferson and Zach Ertz for Deshaun Watson and Will Fuller. Deshaun Watson is not playing. He's not playing this year. He probably is not playing next year. Like, I'm telling everybody, they might trade. The Dolphins might trade because that feels like a Dolphins thing to do right now. But he's not playing. The NFL's not letting him on the field. I don't want to go into the details. And then Will Fuller also not playing because of injuries. Like, Will Fuller was healthy, and then he tested positive for the old juice. So was he healthy, or was he riding high on that, sweet injection candy, whatever you want to call it, that was keeping him on the field for 10 or 11 straight games?
Yeah.
The worst trade ever. He already had a team where he was struggling to field players. He's like, I was just trying to be advantageous, or whatever word he used. It's the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. And I was like, and in a league where everybody's trying to compete and play within the rules, it just makes it that much unfair to Dalton's team, where it's like now Dalton traded away 2 players that were not going to play for his squad.
Yeah.
And he got stronger. And Dalton's squad was not good to begin with. It wasn't a contender. Now he gets 2 players that make him a contender. It pisses me off. I'm playing J-Fly this week. If I lose to him, I will quit fantasy football.
Something's going on with him where he just keeps winning somehow, despite doing all this.
Yeah, he's 3-3. He's gotten very lucky, but
same record as me, even though I scored 600 more points.
Yes. Yeah. Luck shall end for him. I'm
From my
very
experience,
upset.
bad luck, Tony. It just keeps going. So good luck probably keeps going too.
Sometimes the fantasy gods just like to laugh at you and like make some weird stuff happen in the regular season, and it works itself out. And then like they'll have like Jay Fly kick your butt in this week, and it's just like, why?
It's because of all those times I've been on the receiving end of some of those trades. It's the fantasy gods punishing me for my sins.
I've been on the receiving end of none of those trades, so I better beat him this weekend.
Remember, Jay Fly traded his first round pick to me and then selected Austin Eckler with the second round pick that I traded him and then traded me Austin Eckler.
Oh, yeah. I know. Yeah. And that's why I honestly, like I said, Jay Fly, the human being, wonderful. One of my favorite people to be on a live stream with. Absolutely says the dumbest things ever, but it's entertaining and fun. Love Jay Fly. I don't know if he can be in my fantasy football league next year. Can't be in my fantasy football league.
Joe Morley literally just picked up Hasty.
Oh yeah. I just made a move right now.
On the air.
I mean, you guys were talking so great about him, and you guys were like, hey, Hasty might start and might do all this. And I was like, oh, he's sitting right there. I might as well pick him up.
Yeah, they're talking about him being the rumor that I read was he might operate behind as the number 2 to Elijah Moore. So if that's the case, Trey Sermon.
That's exactly why I watched this show.
Trey Sermon will be dropped from my lineup if that's the report that comes out tomorrow morning. All right. We got a little bit of time left. Just a reminder that Fantasy Football Boot Camp is coming up after this. It is a great show filled with information and stats and debate. Fire debates go on player projections. That's my favorite part of that show is when Piggy and Flojo go at each other and then they start taking personal shots. And you can tell that they sting a little bit. There's some real fire going back and forth, but I find it entertaining. And as long as their friendship can maintain it, I encourage it 100%.
Yes,
but as far as this show, as far as the Speakeasy show is concerned, let's talk about some guys that we are all starting. And if you're in the chat, please let us know your most desperate, thirsty for points starts to this weekend. That you're just the guys that you're playing where you're like, please. I'm going to start with one. I have a bunch, but I'm going to start with one, and then you guys can go along.
Okay.
I'm going to start calling him Roberto Anderson, right? Because Robbie Anderson ain't done shit for me this year. So Roberto Anderson needs to ball out for the Carolina Panthers. I'm starting this dude. He has so many targets and they're leading to nothing. Now, maybe that's Sam Darnold not looking so great or whatever it is, but I'm still going to play him because I have to, because like Emmanuel Sanders is out and there's a couple other, that's it. Kareem Hunt, David Montgomery are both on my IR. Like Damian Williams is coming off COVID. Like I could possibly start him, but then what's my other option? Alex Collins with a hip injury on Monday night against the Saints? No, thank you. No, thank you. If I can get Alex Collins out of my lineup, I'm doing it. So Roberto Anderson for the Carolina Panthers, not to be confused with Robbie Anderson, two different people. Roberto and Robbie, not the same. I'm starting Roberto. Yes, I've actually legally changed his name on the ESPN app to start Roberto.
Wow. That's a good thing about the sleeper app. Remember how you could put the nickname in for the player?
Yeah. If I had him in that league.
I need to put a nickname in for my desperate play. A guy who I've traded and reacquired twice in the same league. Ronaldo Johns. Because he's not playing like Ronald Jones this year. So he's going to be Ronaldo Johns. Just like your joke, Tony, that I just stole. So Jones needs to have a week this week. All right? They're playing Chicago. It's a tough defense. I'm sure that Leonard Fournette's going to get his. Just share a little garbage time with Rojo. A little garbage time with Rojo, and I'll be happy. Give me 10 points, Rojo.
There's actually talks that Rojo might be traded at the deadline.
To the Chargers, hopefully.
I would take him.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I had Ronald Jones. I drafted him in one of my leagues. Now he's sitting on the free agency waiver wire. I don't see it getting better for him because Tony's guy Giovanni Bernard down there is probably the second guy now. So Rojo has dropped bad in that offense.
I'm pissed about it, but that is a 16-man league where my running backs are superhuman. I got Kareem Hunt and Austin Eckler, except for in week 7. They're not superhuman.
So there's a couple guys that I'm debating over right now to put in my flex spot, in my own flex spot, right? I have Michael Carter, I have Jamal Williams, I have Bateman, and I have, of course, Damian Williams. Those are the 4 guys I keep staring at. I keep moving them in and out, thinking which one are going to be. And to me, I'm wondering if Bateman is worth the shot this week. You know, his one game that he did play was against the Chargers. He had 4 catches in that game, right? Something like that. So I wonder now that he's got it under his first game under his belt, if he's ready to go, if it's worth it, because I just picked up Lamar Jackson to go along with it. So now I can have the wide receiver combination, a quarterback combination. It's just something that I'm wondering. And with all, you know, with Diggs not playing and, you know, other wide receivers not playing, do I dig down into that wide receiver depth and try to use somebody like that and try to hit a home run with somebody that's nobody's willing to take?
It could be a home run. I think Carter's your best play there. They're playing the Falcons. It should be a 27-24 game with a lot of running.
Yeah, I like Michael Carter. Feels like the safest one to me. Like he feels like, oh, I think you're getting 10 to 12 points out of Michael Carter. It depends on how healthy the other running backs are there. But he feels like the safest one. And then I would say Rashad Bateman feels like the next. Jamal Williams and the Lions,
killing
that one. That one is, you're killing me, Smalls, but also like it's the Lions and it's the Rams and it's not going to be pretty in Los Angeles.
Don't you got a bet down on Jamal Williams to outscore Swift?
I don't have a bet. That was my hot take of the preseason, was that Jamal Williams would outscore DeAndre Swift, and I'm not going to win that bet. So
I get now.
Yeah,
DeAndre Swift.
It's not really close.
Season.
Okay.
Yeah,
I would start Rashad Bateman just for the cheer factor. But again, that's maybe not the greatest way to analyze your fantasy lineup. Okay, I do want to give one more because I mentioned it earlier about stuffing full sticks of deodorant under my armpits.
Yeah.
Jameis Winston, I'm streaming in two leagues, and there could potentially be a third, depending on how crazy I want to get. But I have Jameis on Monday night against the Seahawks. It's not a good secondary at all. But there's also those classic Jameis games where it's like maybe they get a little pressure on him and he just starts throwing interceptions, right? Like, I don't think that they're going to go to Taysom Hill or whatever if Taysom can even play in this game. But there is a little bit of fear in me where it's like, oh shit! Like, what if Jameis has like a Geno Smith game on Monday night and I just have to watch my team go down in flames? I can't start Tua. I just can't. I get that that's probably the smarter thing, and he's available in both of those leagues. But one, I get to either live in glory, or go down in a fiery crash with Jameis Winston on Monday night. And that to me is kind of fun.
Jameis will be going off, Tony, on Monday night. Mark my words. I'll double down with you. I don't have many fantasy leagues, but I will put all the prize picks in for Jameis Winston. He's going off against the Seahawks.
I hope so. Well, I really do.
He either makes that shitty play and then he turns around and makes a great play. So you might lose 2 points on a fumble or an interception, and then the next play he'll get you a 70-yard touchdown pass. So your roller coaster of emotions on Monday night is going to be insane, and you're going to be like that big drop the whole night, just like and then hopefully it goes back up the track and not just.
His stat line is going to be 22 for 29, 300 yards, 3 touchdowns passing, and 1 ball that should have been intercepted, but it hit Jamal Adams right in the face mask. That's what his stat line is going to be.
I would win. I will win both leagues if he does that.
TDs.
What's guaranteed? Here's his question: Bateman or Ertz? I think this is close, but I would go Bateman. What do you guys think?
TDs. I'm actually starting both of them.
Oh,
Because Tony just told me to start Bateman, and I already have Ertz because I traded Kelsey in that deal for Ertz. So I'm going Ertz, and like we talked about Ertz Thursday, Mike, on Thursday night, and we said if Kyle Murray wants this trade to happen, he has to look for Ertz in the red zone to make that offense even more potent and crazier. So I think Ertz is going to score some touchdowns.
see.
Yeah, I would start Bateman in this. I think it's still there's so many mouths to feed in that Cardinals offense, and I think just incorporating them, you would be lucky to get a touchdown in the first week out of him. But I'm starting him in one league out of desperation because of the Knox injury and bye weeks and whatever else. So I have him in one league. So I'll be rooting with you for a little Zach Ertz love. And I also have him in a dynasty league because I picked him up right before the trade. And now it's like, why not hang on to him and see if some sucker wants him if I can sweeten a deal with him at the trade deadline. This next one here by Scooby Taylor. This feels like, I just want to get rid of this feels like I want to get rid of Gibson because I don't think there's a huge difference between a healthy Gibson and Aaron Jones, but there's a big difference between Cooper Kupp and Marquise Brown, especially if Rashad Bateman assumes that number one role and Marquise Brown becomes more of just a deep threat that Lamar Jackson only targets 4 or 5 times a game. Like, I think Brown had a nice start to the season because there wasn't another passing threat next to Mark Andrews. But Rashad Bateman, to me, is the real deal based on what I saw coming out of college and the type of receiver that will fit well with Lamar Jackson, who's not necessarily Patrick Mahomes, who can make Tyreek Hill work, even though he's 4'11". Like, Hollywood Brown is another small guy. I think a bigger receiver is always what Lamar Jackson has needed to become an efficient passer, a big body guy that can get some 50-50 balls. And that is not Hollywood Brown.
You know who they're going to be sending that check to? Number 81's doorstep in the offseason this year.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
I don't know why Mike always says that when the Chargers have big cap space next year. Gibson and Kupp for Aaron Jones. The only reason I would probably do this trade if I was the Gibson Kupp thing is like you're saying, you're tired of Antonio Gibson. You're tired of going, is he hurt? Is he playing? What is going on? At least you know that Aaron Jones is going to be in there week in, week out. Cooper Kupp, you're going to lose at Cooper Kupp, of course you are. But I don't know. Marquise Brown has been doing a great job, Tony. But Antonio Gibson, how is he out? He's still out, right? He's not going to be like, there's still question marks on him. So I think really you're just looking at it for Cooper Kupp for Aaron Jones and Marquise Brown at this point.
Well, he has shin splints, and if the shin splints are really painful, and if it fractures, then he's out for a while. Like, if you get that, then he won't be able to do anything. So this would be my advice. I would keep Gibson, and I would go get McKissick. Like, I would find, like, maybe he's on your waiver wire, or he's somebody that you could get cheaper, and then you have a good backup there. Or you could get Jarrett Patterson for free. I like Patterson in this offense if he's out. Is he going to give you the same return? No, but like giving up on Cooper Kupp right now, who could finish as the wide receiver 1 for Hollywood Brown, and Aaron Jones is going to be in a timeshare, not a full timeshare, but AJ Dillon's a beast. When it starts snowing in Green Bay, they're going to be giving the ball to that truckload in the second half when they're playing in cold games in Chicago or wherever it is. Like, AJ Dillon's going to be a little bit more involved, I think, down the stretch, because also, why wouldn't you want to keep Aaron Jones healthy if you have this tank in the backfield? AJ Dillon's going to get some love. He's already done it a few weeks. I kind of need one to be this week because I have to play him. Jarrett Patterson. He's little.
We
JT, I'm done with Mike Davis. I will never tell you to start Mike Davis again the rest of this season.
We talked about it a lot, Scooby, so I'll just be short and brief. I would accept this. But I'm a trade whore. So
don't
listen to all the advice of the other two gentlemen and make the right decision. Mike Davis or Devontae Booker? I'll go Mike Davis. It's tough, though.
I'm not starting Mike Davis for crap.
Pick your poison situation. Mike Davis versus the Jets. This is like
the only thing about Booker is the Giants have nobody, and I mean absolutely nobody playing except for him. Like, play him.
Hey, the Brightwells, they may watch the show, Joe. That's who his backup is. And maybe they tune in here for their information. I would go Devontae Booker in this. Devontae Booker. Like, I think Mike Davis is sharing with Cordero Patterson. I think Calvin Ridley's he's back and playing in this game, and Kyle Pitts, and I don't know. I think the Jets defense is also a little bit better than people give it credit for. Not great, but better. I go Devontae Booker, but who knows?
Yeah, Mike Davis probably burned some people too. That segment we were talking about earlier in the show. I'm glad that he was on my list. He was on my list of targets, but it just didn't work out in any drafts. I don't have him, so I'm kind of glad I dodged that bullet. The OG.
What's up, Justin?
This Justin riding high this morning after his Suns embarrassed the Lakers last night.
Jared Patterson should be a hot waiver wire guy right now. We'll see how long McKissick holds up as their receiving number one back. I think Patterson's going to be coming in. Here's another thing I like about Jarrett. He doesn't waste any letters in his name. He spells it like Jaret. This guy doesn't waste anything. He's like, I don't even need to waste extra letters. I'm just going good old-fashioned Jarrett. I love somebody who does that. You spell your name with just Jon, you're a winner in my book. Don't need that H. Like Ronaldo Johns? Jons.
Yes. Rojo Jonas. My friend Yojo Ronis. Dale Rojo.
Let's Mike, that's a Franklin ball. Oh man.
There it is. Mike is talking a lot of trash, but he's going into this flag football game with a banged up wrist.
I sprained it.
I know, but I'm just saying, you're talking an awful lot of smack there, Von Miller. You got to back it up.
I can hold my hand all the way. That's good enough to catch.
You guys want to check out Jake's picks of the week?
Let's do it.
All right. Let's let you guys know. Warning, we have not seen this. Hopefully it is good. Jake? Jake? I'm worried about it. So here we go, Jake. Here we go.
Hasta la vista, baby. As I look into this ball, I'm gonna tell you the winners of week 7. This is a pure win. Someone's out of place and the Ravens are gonna put them back to reality. What is this that I see? The Bears getting bucked up by Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. I see death. Oh wait. That's just the Washington football team getting beat by Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. This can't double check that. This can't be right. More butt fumbles. Wow, this is going to be one ugly game. I'm taking the Patriots side to be over it.
There we go. There we go. He said, what did he say? They're going to get bucked up?
Yep, they're gonna get bucked up. Kid knows. Kid's got a deep knowledge of the NFL. Going to butt fumbles and stuff. That was a full 8 years ago. That was before he was born. But he's
every week he wants to talk. He goes, "What can I say to piss off Alex Robson?"
Oh man.
So that's his target every week.
I'll be his writer. Let me know. I'll write some jokes to get under Robson's skin for sure.
Krusty.
He is in second place, I believe, in the Warzone of Attrition League. Had a rough start, won 4 straight. Krusty knows his stuff. Check out Krusty Fantasy Football on the IG, ladies and gentlemen.
I want to win 4 straight.
You do want to win 4 straight. You're not good.
I don't want to talk about war of attrition anymore because I got screwed over by Geno Smith last week. And, hey, that's a tough shot. Like, the Rooney Tunes, like, you want to take a shot at me right at the beginning of your show? That's kick a man when he's down. Go ahead. But I lost my game last week by what? Less than half a point? Is that what it was, like, total? and it would put me at 4-2, which would have probably been like third or second place going into this week where I'm playing Fantasy Wishlist, who's up there as well. I that could cost me first place in the war of attrition.
Yes, you did. But don't worry about that, Krusty. A lot of people are taking L's to my.
You are not. You are not coming in first. Do not blame Geno Smith for this.
Here's the crazy thing about that Geno Smith fumble. Okay, so fantasy football therapist in that league has a bad team, but he's in first place. Had he lost that, he would have been in sixth because his total points are like under 800, but he's still in first because he has a 5-1 record. That's how lucky he is. And fantasy football therapist, I got a bone to pick with you. We need to cut this out and put it on there. In our league, this dude went and picked up Dearness Johnson against me when I have Kareem Hunt on a bye. I thought I was being generous. I spent $75 on my fab. Dude took his wallet out, made it rain on Dearness Johnson for $100. Then some dope in our league drops Marquez Callaway on a bye week in a super flex league where we got to start 11 players. And I was like, okay, I'm going to get him. I put in a bid for like $15. Therapist went in and put him for $25, and we're playing each other this week, and he keeps swooping in and stealing stuff from me, and I'm sick of it, therapist. I hope you lose. I hope that I go full Dan Campbell, and I will fly to the New England area and chew off your patella tendon.
Guess what I play this week, Tony?
Who?
The football therapist.
Beat him. Crush him.
Ronaldo Jones. We'll start talking about him doing good.
Joe.
Good luck, Mike.
Exactly. I need luck. That's what I need. I need luck this week.
Because I've been there. I thought I had him. I had him on the ropes, Mike.
You did.
You did. I am 3-1 in my last 4, so I'm on a little bit of a hot streak. No big deal.
I just got off the schneid last week in a big way. I dump trucked Hoove. I scored like 250 points.
I'm not sure. Maybe someone else is caught up also, but I think me and Krusty are the only teams with like 1,100 points in the league right now.
Hey, look at your boy. I'm right there with you guys.
You got 1,100 points, Tony?
I got like 1050. I'm pretty close. We could round up, homie. We could round up. My team is really good, and I have a plan to make it even better in about 2 weeks. But I don't do that.
I'm going to get you Julio Jones. I'm going to get you those receivers that you want, Tony.
We have Patterson or Darrell Williams in a half-point PPR. I'm going with Darrell Williams. I really like him in this offense, and I think the Chiefs like him more than they like CEH. I think that they have been playing CEH because they used the first-round pick on him, but Darrell Williams, he just fits it better. He's like a less athletic Brian Westbrook, right? Like, he's not quite as good at catching the ball, but he can catch the ball. He's not quite as elusive when he's going through the A and B gap or whatever, make that extra man miss, but he's fine. He's trustworthy. I like Darrell Williams. And Patterson, it's just such risky usage. Like, he'll only get like 9 touches in a game, and he'll score 3 touchdowns. Exactly. That can't continue. That's not sustainable.
He's been sustaining it. I'm going with Patterson in this situation. I don't think Darrell Williams has any potential to score 3 touchdowns in any game in his entire career.
I think he had 2 last week.
He's been doing it all season long. Give me Patterson.
What?
You think Darrell Williams is going to score 3 touchdowns this week?
No, I don't. But I mean, you're saying he has no potential.
But you said he has no potential to ever do it.
He's not going to get enough touches on the goal line to get 3 touchdowns. They're going to go to Mahomes. They're going to go to Kelsey. They go to Hill.
If Tyreek Hill doesn't play this week, then maybe this is his 3 touchdown week.
No. Patterson. Even Krusty agrees with me, and he's a fantasy expert. What are you guys? That dude, Tony Tucker?
I'm not a fantasy expert, but I do have a W on my resume against said fantasy expert. So all I'm saying is, yeah, you can decipher between that.
I'm not a fantasy expert, but I do got me what's on these.
It's a fake belt. You admitted that you made it yourself. Are you wearing a sash?
Oh, this is fake, huh? This face of losers look fake to you?
Oh, no, he said that that was a tough loss. All right, play Darrell Williams. I'll be clipping this up. Don't you worry. Play Darrell Williams, B-dubs. Darrell Williams, put him in.
Lakers all the way.
Lakers right now.
I'm wearing it upside down because that's how the Lakers season is going.
The Lakers are still on pace
to be 0-82, Joseph.
Since Kyle Kuzma has left the Lakers, the Wizards have been undefeated.
Oh, and Kuzma's balling out too. I can't wait. I was hoping Fel K would jump in this chat this morning so we could talk about Kyle Kuzma being an all-star in the Eastern Conference, but I'll save that for another stream. All right, we have about 3 minutes left. I cannot encourage you strongly enough to stick around on the Warzone Sports Network and go over and watch Fantasy Football Boot Camp right after this. Tomorrow, we will be back, starts and sits, getting in there, 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Dodgers tonight. Let's go, Dodgers.
Tonight, it's like 2 hours from now.
Yes. Well, tonight, today, whatever. I found this great little place that's near my house where they do like breakfast, brunch, eggs, and everything. Like, I'm going to eat right after this. I'm very excited. I'm very excited about what I'm
on my way, Tony.
There's a place across the street. There's a place across the street from me that does the same thing. They serve breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Wingstop.
No, but this place is like Belgian waffles and like eggs Benedict, country fried steak. It's very good. I'm very excited about this.
Okay. Hey, I just got corrected. It is a 5:05 start. For some reason I looked yesterday and it said 2:00. So yeah, because of the Astros clinching yesterday, it changed the time. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, get it straight.
The Astros are back in the World Series. Nobody wants that.
Someone has to.
Because cheaters gonna cheat. That's what they're gonna do.
Speaking of Astros, Piggy Bank Picks is coming up next.
Trash can all day.
Fantasy Football Boot Camp.
Doggy Man 100 says, I have a really quick question. You have
Hurry up, doggy. Hurry up, doggy. What you got? I
think it's gonna be a troll question. And if it is
a
troll,
because I love troll questions and it's a great way to end the show.
We're only answering your question if you're subscribed to the channel, Doggy Man.
If it's a troll question, Mike, just play the music.
Right. Because this week it's bye bye bye.
Yeah, actually we replaced the speakeasy music with the bye 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 music.
We should have. You would have thought about that, Mike. You could have been on top of stuff.
I'm not the creator of this stuff.
Doggy Man, he didn't come through quick enough.
He didn't come through quick enough.
Doggy Man, you got 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know how long I was going to count for. I was just going to keep counting until hopefully something came up. But
your fifth grade teacher was very impressed.
This guy has been trying to get Darrell Williams from me all week, and he finally sent me to trade Keenan Allen for Darrell Williams. How do you feel? No.
I wouldn't take it because Darrell Williams is going to score 3 touchdowns this week. Let's go.
The Warzone Sports Network presents the Fantasy Football Speakeasy.